Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you're having an amazing day. So on today's video, I want to touch on complexity and how complexity can actually destroy your business instead of helping it grow. Now, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Rhomays. I'm the owner of AlphaTrain.io, a six-figure growth agency that specializes on helping online and service-based businesses implement client acquisition systems and also leveraging their branding. Now, without further ado, let's jump into my Mac and let's see how complexity can actually destroy a business. Well, in today's marketplace, one of the things that I've noticed is that everyone is pushing for a complex service. And what do I mean by a complex service? Or I could, instead of saying a complex service, I would say a complex offer. One thing I noticed, especially for those who are targeting local businesses, they are trying to put so many things within their offer that it makes it confusing to really understand. So I got a couple of messages the other day of people trying to sell me appointments and trying to sell me how to grow my audience and how to grow my YouTube channel and all that stuff. And one thing I noticed is like these long messages trying to explain what they do. And one of the things that I do the most is asking them, well, what's your core offer? What is your main activity? What is it that you do? And it's funny because most people can't really summarize what they do. They try to, I do this and I do that, and I also have this option, and I have that option, and I can do it in 3 and 6 months. And like, dude, relax. First off, do you even know if I need something? Because if you don't, well, probably you shouldn't be reaching out like that. But if you know that I probably need something, just focus on that specific pain point. For example, growing an audience. That's a great pain, especially for those who are struggling for a lot of time to get some traction. But don't position it like this. And here's the difference. So, there are two concepts in this little flowchart. This is what usually nowadays offers look like. And this is what the prospect wants. And by the way, the reason why I've put here what the prospect wants X but needs Y, is because it is true that most of the times prospects actually, they think they need this to grow, to make more money, or to save time, or whatever it is. But in the reality, what they need is something a little bit different, because they have some beliefs they haven't shattered yet, and they need to go through that coaching session or through that reality in order to see that, oh, actually what I needed is not that, but I actually need this stuff here. Now, nevertheless, when you're approaching for the first time a new prospect, if your offer looks complex and confusing, they will not understand it. And especially the biggest problem here is that you think that this actually creates value. But for the prospect, all you are doing, I'm sorry, here we go. You think that this equals value. Okay, sorry for my incredible writing. And the discrepancy here is that you see this, right? This is what you are seeing. I've tried to draw two eyes, but well, forget it. And what the prospect sees is only this. He could care less about the other stuff. So about this stuff and about this stuff. Even if you know for a fact that this is what will actually help him get the best results, you should not focus on selling them all the stuff. Try to meet your prospect in the reality that he is living in. Again, try to meet your prospect in the reality that he is living in, or he is currently living in. That's the only way on how you can communicate. And because, for example, what you have is 2 frames, right? And this is, let's say that this is your frame, put it like this, and this is your prospects frame. Now, if your frame is too big and you're trying to put your client in it, your prospect in it, he will feel lost because it's way too big. So you want to make sure that it is the exact same size of his reality so that he can actually understand it. And that way you both will be on the same page. But if you're trying to sell a reality that you understand but is too complex for him to understand, he will feel overwhelmed and he will not understand. For that reason, and if you remember from Alex Hormozzi's value equation, right, where you have the top end desired outcome, then the likelihood of achievement, time delay, and effort/sacrifice, what he will see is a huge amount of sacrifice. He will not understand the value. Even if you have 1,000 testimonials, even if you have like crazy guarantees, all that stuff, because he will not feel understood. Instead, focus on giving the prospect what the prospect wants. Then, later on, sell him what he needs, because at that point, once he starts working with you, his reality would start to increase. And so you will also start to acknowledging other pain points within his business and how you can help solving them, if that's something that you provide. So this is when it comes to sales, right? So I was just making a point about sales. Now, another thing that I think that is extremely unhelpful for most businesses when it comes to complexity is not actually about sales, but actually about fulfilling. So let's say the following: if you sell something that is quite difficult to fulfill for your clients, and you have a huge incremental increase in expenses for each and every single client. And expenses can be also not only related with time, but also related with money. If it costs you too much time or too much money to actually fulfill for a client, you will end up in a position where you have 4 clients and you simply don't have enough revenue to hire more people, and you also don't have enough time to fulfill. So you end up in this trap where you need to charge high, but at the same time, it's taking you so much effort and so much profit margins that you simply cannot scale it. So when you are building an offer, when you are building your business, when you are thinking about your service delivery, always try to productize it. Think, for example, software. Software is one of the best examples where, like, it doesn't cost them pretty much anything, a new user that signs up and starts paying for it, unless your product is shit and then you have like your customer support to deal with every client that comes on board. Well, that shouldn't be the case. So you should have a good service to begin with. But now, I'll bring this point to the reality. This week I was actually on a call with a client, and we were looking at his core offer, and we realized that he had almost 100 variables or different ways that he could fulfill for his clients after counting all the different possibilities. And I asked him, like, don't you think that it would be easier if you had only, let's say, 3 options instead of having 100? I mean, he said, yeah, probably you're right, but I mean, I don't want to leave money on the table, right? And I was like, okay, so I picked one random combination. I was like, okay, how many people actually chose this combination? Like, well, I cannot say from the top of my head. And for example, this combination and this combination, this. So once he realized, okay, so we are worrying about adding more complexity when you haven't even got the basic right, and the basic is selling something to someone consistently. That's it. There is no really big secret about it. You have to find a gap in the market. It doesn't need to be a new gap. You can find an existing gap. Like, for example, businesses need clients, so help them get more clients. Well, everyone's happy, give them what they want, and then sell them what they need. Now, a common pattern that I've noticed is that especially small businesses tend to overcomplicate everything. It's not only overcomplicating sales. They overcomplicate sales, customer support, product, delivery, SOPs. Most of them don't even have SOPs, but you know what I mean. So everything is so complex within such a small business that it's impossible to scale. And when I say scale, I don't even mean like scaling to $1 million a month. I'm talking about like doing 10, 20K, 30K per month. I hope that if you find this useful, and if you are in this position where you feel like completely overwhelmed with the amount of activities and tasks that you have to do in order to fulfill for one single client, you should assess what are the core elements. What do your clients actually value? What is the thing that, if you ask them, what is the best thing about working with us? Take that and make the most out of it. Don't try to put the most amount of things in an offer just to make it look pretty, okay? And believe me, I've done that. I've been that guy who tried to do so many things at the same time for one single client that I couldn't even sleep with the amount of work I had. Well, I had work, but I didn't have money. Well, and that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop them on the section down below. I'm always available. And also, we have a private community for like-minded entrepreneurs that want to change the world and make the world a better place. So if you are one of those, feel free to click on the first link in the description. That's a Facebook group. And I'm more than happy to welcome you to our community. Well, thank you very much. See you on the next one. Peace out.